Without a doubt, a dog is man's best friend. They understand us perfectly, look into our eyes faithfully, and never betray the one they have chosen as their master. Can we boast the same? How well can a person understand his four-legged friend? Perhaps sometimes hearing, understanding, and accepting what our pet is trying to tell us can save our lives. But how often do we listen to the signs that our pets give us? Or do we just not know how to understand them? This story is about true friendship and devotion of one dog to his owner. It is about how important it is for people to trust their four-legged friends and to listen to what they are trying to warn us from. Michael has worked as a dog handler for the police all his life. During his many years of service, he had many dog partners with whom he worked very productively. But the last dog with whom he had a chance to work with just stuck with the man's soul. It was a young German shepherd named Zeus who had recently joined the police but had already managed to show great potential. Michael devoted a lot of time to his new partner, and thanks to the dog's natural intelligence and regular training, he became one of the best police dogs in that city. But as time went on and Michael's career in the police was coming to an end, this year he finished his work as a policeman and retired with honor. But one fact haunted him. He knew that Zeus would have to stay in the service, and the man needed to hand him over to a new employee who would come to work in his place. This thought did not give Michael rest. He became so attached to Zeus that he could not even allow the thought of parting with him. So one day he turned to his boss with a huge request. He asked him to let the dog retire along with him. And despite the fact that the age of Zeus still allowed him to work with the police, Michael's boss knew how close they became and allowed Michael to take Zeus with him. Michael's family, when they found out that he wanted to take the dog, was not very happy with the decision. The man's wife was very worried that this dog was specially trained to attack, and this could be very dangerous in their quiet family life. However, Michael was able to convince his wife that he himself taught and raised Zeus, and he would become an excellent and reliable friend for his wife and children. After the man finished his work in the police, he threw all his new free time into the improvement of his house and the area around it. One morning, he and Zeus, as usual, made a morning jog in their area, then had breakfast together, and the man began to collect tools to do some repairs to the roof. It was at this moment, for the first time in his life, that Zeus behaved very aggressively with his master. He began to growl at the man, attack him, hooked his teeth into his boots, and prevented him from gathering his tools. Michael was stunned. This was the first time Zeus did not listen to his commands, but behaved like a wild beast. No matter what the man did, he could not calm the raging dog. So he decided to close him in the basement so that he would not interfere with his work. Then he would deal with him after the work was done. All this time, Zeus barked desperately from the basement. The man was a little uncomfortable that he had to do this to his pet, but Zeus seemed to be completely wild at that time. Michael's wife heard this desperate barking and went downstairs to find out what had happened. It was at this exact moment that she heard the cry of her husband, then the crunch of a tree, and then silence. The woman ran out into the street in horror and saw her husband lying on the ground near the ladder. Apparently, he fell off the roof and fell from a great height directly onto solid ground. He lay on the ground and showed no signs of life. The woman urgently called an ambulance. The man was taken away. He was diagnosed with minor fractures and a concussion, as well as a severe bruise to the head. The man fell into a coma and had to be put on life support. He lay in the hospital for some time, after which his wife decided to take him home and hire a nurse. The woman hoped that this would help him come to his senses faster. When Michael was brought home on a gurney, the first to meet him was Zeus. He quietly approached the gurney with sad eyes and licked his master's hand. And when he was laid on a special bed, Zeus refused to leave him at all. He lay by the bed all day with his master, leaving only for a few minutes to go outside and then coming right back. So 2 years passed in this way. Michael never recovered. Once, during the next scheduled examination, the doctor suggested to his wife that they take Michael off life support. The woman was shocked by these words, but in the end, she gave in and signed the necessary papers. For this procedure, the man had to be transported to the hospital. But when a car came for him, Zeus, again, as if furious, growled at the medics, preventing them from entering the house, who in turn refused to do anything until the dog was removed. The wife managed to lock him in one of the rooms, and Michael was loaded into the ambulance. When the vehicle was already driving away from their house, Zeus broke down the door and ran after his master. At this point, Michael's wife remembered that Zeus was just as aggressive when he tried to warn Michael not to climb on the roof that day. Perhaps he wanted to tell them something again? The woman jumped into her car and raced for the ambulance. At the hospital, the dog attacked the doctor, who was trying to disconnect the machine from Michael. The wife came running. During all this scuffle, no one even paid attention to the fact that the man opened his eyes. It wasn't until they heard his weak, hoarse voice, "Don't touch the dog," that they suddenly realized that Michael had come to his senses. How much joy it was beyond words. It was a real miracle. On that day, thanks to the fact that Michael's wife was able to recognize the signals given by the dog in time, they managed to save the man's life.